in quiet stillness or roaring thunder. It is the source of abundance and variety of life. Few places have such a unique relationship with water as the subtropical lowlands of southern Florida. Home of the Everglades ecosystem, a natural wonder that to the casual observer looks more like a swamp than anything else. But the Everglades ecosystem is much more than that. It historically was a complex natural system linked together by seasonal rains and the overflow of Lake Okeechobee. It became a wide, shallow river that flowed into Biscayne Bay and Florida Bay, encompassing a wide variety of habitats. Refuges protected by the crown jewels of South Florida. Everglades National Park, Big Cypress National Preserve, Biscayne National Park, and Dry Tortugas National Park.
It doesn't resemble Grand Teton or Olympic or Cascades, the majesty of Yellowstone, Glacier. It's a subtropical water park. Very little of it is accessible to man. And yet, in the theory of what a national park is or should be, it protects one of the rarest ecosystems on the face of this earth.
Check out its neck. Thank you. This bird's very cooperative. Kind of a medium-length neck there.
The combination of climate and location that led to the proliferation of plant and animal life has historically drawn an expanding human population. It is the demands of this burgeoning population that pose the greatest threat. In the period of a single human lifespan, what took nature 6 million years to create has been subdivided and redirected.
Population growth of South Florida continues at about 900 people a week, who are all demanding space and water and roads and sewage control and boat slips and every possible human demand that can be made on an ecosystem is being made on an ecosystem that's probably the most fragile in the nation.
The destruction of the ecosystem could have been much worse if not for the early efforts of people like Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. National groups like the National Parks and Conservation Association also played a key role, helping to build a coalition to push for the establishment of Everglades National Park in 1947. Their legacy lives on today in the Everglades Coalition, a group of 40 local and national conservation organizations, including NPCA, who continue the struggle to protect the Everglades ecosystem.
9 times out of 10, the American public wants those resources protected. They want them restored, and it's up to groups like NPCA, along with a lot of the local partners that we want to work with, to educate the American public so that they can say, yes, we want these resources restored to the way they used to be.
Despite public support, the Everglades remains one of the most threatened ecosystems on Earth.
This water-based ecosystem is the lifeblood of Everglades National Park, and the park's future is entirely dependent on its survival.
Once up to 70 miles wide and 250 miles long, the river of grass that once fed what is now Everglades National Park has been cut in half. According to biological scientist Dr. Ron Jones, the effects have been devastating.
So the Everglades were, what's important about them was their expanse, their size. They were highly productive because they were big. So now that we've shrunk them down into these very small areas, we can't have the same productivity that we once had, because if a bird needs 10 acres to get enough food for its nestlings, then we need 100 acres to support 10 birds, et cetera, et cetera.
The numbers of wading birds that nest in the park, like the endangered wood stork, roseate spoonbill, and great egret, have dropped by more than 90%.
The reason that the colonial wading birds are not there is because man interfered with the flow of water going into the park, both in quantity, quality, and most importantly, the timing of the water flow. We diked it in, walled it off, crisscrossed it with canals, added pumps here and there. We thought that we were such clever human beings that we could duplicate what had taken centuries to produce. Well, we haven't.
Everglades National Park is only a part of the watershed, and it's the ills of the Everglades are fundamentally attributable to the flows and the water management throughout the watershed. Unless it's fixed throughout the ecosystem, Everglades National Park will not survive.
Adjoining Everglades National Park along its northwest border is Big Cypress National Preserve. Set aside in 1974 to protect a vast portion of the ecosystem originally left out of Everglades National Park, Big Cypress exemplifies what needs to be done to bring back the river of grass.
We're involved in a number of what would perhaps be smaller scale restoration, but yet they have just as great of impact on our system, and those would be diversion of water from man-made canals by blocking those canals and providing a way for that water to seek its natural flow.
Work is also underway on ridding Big Cypress of invasive non-native species like these Australian melaleuca trees. Though small in size, these early efforts are part of a larger plan to restore the ecosystem of South Florida. Big Cypress shares many of the characteristics we've come to associate with Everglades National Park, but it is just a bit higher, only by inches. This slight variation provides for a distinct vegetative mosaic that includes pinelands and hardwood hammocks. And it is this difference that has made the Big Cypress area the last refuge for the endangered Florida panther. Its genetic pool all but depleted, the Florida panther stands on the brink of extinction. Today there are only 30 left in the wild. Continued development of the lands surrounding Big Cypress could seal the panther's fate. While development of lands outside of Big Cypress threatens the panther, efforts to develop lands within Big Cypress raise a host of additional problems.
Big Cypress is unique in that there are a lot of consumptive uses allowed in the preserve that wouldn't be found in a national park. For instance, we have cattle grazing, we have oil and gas exploration and extraction, and we issue up to 2,500 off-road vehicle permits.
Current proposals include the addition of up to 28 more gas and oil wells. Citizen involvement is critical to ensure that any development of Big Cypress lands is done in a way that assures the protection of the natural resources. East of Everglades National Park lies Biscayne National Park.